Good afternoon and welcome back to another ironic introduction to another video. Today Kabam has released a series of deals attached to the unit bundles. If you take these deals and you buy them and you get the priceless doubloons, you can pop over to the in-game store, go to spring cleaning and purchase any of these bundles based on the doubloons you spend. Now a disclaimer here, this is based on progression. So if you're Cavalier, your deals are different than Uncollected, different than Proven, different than Conqueror, etc., etc. There will be timestamps in the description below for deal reviews for Cavalier and Uncollected, if that's really all you're interested in. Kind of a catch-all, the cheaper deals here have a higher value per cost than the more expensive ones, but I'll dive into the actual per cost here in a moment. So important for everybody is that the unit deals themselves have a different value per cost depending on how many units you buy. So if you buy like the $5 deal, you're getting 27 units per dollar, and if you buy the $100 deal, you're getting 31 units per dollar. It means you're getting 4 more units per dollar spent. Additionally, and this is really important, you're getting a significantly larger amount of doubloons per dollar spent if you're spending $100 than if you're buying a $5 deal. So if your question is, hey, I'm trying to spend $30, should I spend 3 of the $10 deals or should I buy 1 of the $30 deals? And just flat out the answer is buy the 30. So whatever amount of money you're spending, buy the highest bundle unit you can buy and then work your way down if you're spending, less than whatever the quantities are. Additionally, there are some variations in the gold pool crystals. It actually degrades over time but caps out to an extent, and the 1-star Deadpool exports, no matter which deal you're buying, you only get 1, which is weird to me, but that's how Kabam decided to do it. That said, I'll dive into the Cavalier review here now. So across the board, what I've done here is I've put a cost of what each bundle is. This is just the nominal cost in doubloons. The row below it is the normalized cost range. So it actually goes from high to low. So this is the cost of one bundle if you were using doubloons only from like the $5 range versus the $100 range. Because obviously if you buy doubloons only with $5 unit deals, it's going to cost more per bundle, effectively per dollar cost, right? And if you're buying the $100 because you're getting that deal, it's going to cost less per dollar in order to buy these bundles. And that's kind of a perspective that I think is important to view. So you see here like $5 if you're only buying a $5 deal, but it's only $2.22 per bundle if you're buying the $100 deal. And then below that, I have the total cost range, which is, again, if you were to buy all of the bundles in this category, this is how much it would cost you per dollar, or like total dollars spent based on the $5 and the $100 doubloons package, and just, everything in between is a range, which I didn't want to calculate. So it just kind of gives you an idea, a rough gauge of how much each maxed out bundle costs. From there, I have a value per dollar at max cost if you were buying the cheapest bundles first, and then a value per dollar at minimum cost if you're buying only $100 deals and progressing forward. As far as like actually reviewing the deals, I'm going to use this one because I think it's the most relevant. So what's really important here to notice is the high degradation of value over like the progression of cost per doubloons. So for example, bundle 1 is the cheapest. You're getting 4.5% of a 5-star shard per dollar. 4.5% of a 5-star per dollar on bundle 1, and the next time you can buy 5-star shards is in the 5-star Nexus crystal, which you get essentially for $100 spent. And you're only getting 1%. Now, I think it's really important to kind of relate these if we talk about selectivity. If you don't care about SIG levels, if you don't care about ISO, the Nexus crystal has this value of selectivity. And so, yes, you could buy 3 5-star crystals, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's a better value than a singular Nexus 5-star when you're looking for a specific champion. I think an instance that this would work out is, let's say it costs $200 to buy 3 5-star crystals, but it costs $100 to buy a 5-star Nexus. In that situation, the 5-star Nexus actually holds more value because you have a selectivity of 3 for $100, where on the 3 5-stars for $200, you actually have a selectivity of 3 for 1.5 for $100. So you lose selectivity there, but in this scenario, even if we triple this 1% and relate only selectivity, the 5-star on the first bundle still has a higher value, 1.5% actually more value when we're just comparing selectivity. More relevant, I think something that less people might be noticing is the high degradation of 6-star shards. So bundles 2, 4, 6, and 8 have 6-star shards available to them. And when you go from bundle 2 to bundle 6, you're losing about half of your value per dollar. And when you go from bundle 4 to bundle 6, you're not losing as much, only like 0.225. But when you go from bundle 6 to bundle 8, you are losing 0.55%. A huge chunk of your value degrades. So if you're fishing for 6 stars, stick to bundle 2, maybe get bundle 4, but really back away from bundle 6 and bundle 8, because if 6 stars is the name of the game, that's really not where you should be looking. Same with tier 5 basics. Bundle 1 has the best deal for value per dollar. Bundle 4 has a relatively good deal, still at 1% per dollar, and then we see degrading returns, whereas this final one, like if we're talking about trying to get some tier 5 basic, this is by far the worst deal. And then bundle 2 is your only access for tier 4 basic. And then this is something I think is really important to mention as well, is tier 2 alpha. So when we're comparing 15% to 11.24% tier 2 alpha, it's actually not like the world's worst fall off. So here, if you're fishing for tier 2 alpha, I would actually recommend between bundles 3 and bundles 5, pick based on what you need on the secondary. Because if you're fishing for tier 4 class catalysts, bundle 3 is going to be a really, really great deal. But if you could use a couple extra 6 stones and tier 4 class catalysts really aren't a concern for you, it's honestly, in my opinion, worth taking the loss on the tier 2 alpha in return for 5-star 6 stones. Yes, it's not a lot of 5-star 6 stones, but it's still 5-star 6 stones nonetheless. A very coveted resource in this game. 6-star 6 stones, you really don't get much, about 1 for every $3 or 1 for every $3.20, give or take. And it's just brutal. I guess like the really only like saving grace here on the 6 stars is that this is a crystal. So it's random, but more importantly than that is the fact that you can hold it in your crystal stash indefinitely. So buying this means that if you're investing in the future of your account, you know that you're going to need 6-star 6 stones eventually, and you're confident you're going to be around to see that day. This is a potentially good value long term. And that's really the only selling points I can make there. And if we're talking about 6-star trade-offs, again, we're seeing, you know, one of the lowest 6-star degradations between these two deals comparatively. So you can rest easy knowing that, even though you do lose out on the tier 5 basic. And then finally, I think it's worth mentioning is that this tier 5 class catalysts, a very small quantity. Like this is a brutal amount of tier 5 class catalysts, but if that's what you're looking for, it is present here. It's just going to cost you an arm and a leg. That said, I'll move into the uncollected deals here real quick. So special thank you to AY-JAY115 and AYJAY-115, a father and son who gave me screenshots of the uncollected deals and made this analysis possible. So same thing, except that like the cost per bundles is slightly different here. Some of them have changed. As a result, the normalized cost range has changed and the total cost range has changed as well. Because even some of them where like the cost for the bundle is the same, the quantity of bundles you can buy changes. So the total cost changes as well. And this is something that I think Kabam has done really, really, really well. Because normally Uncollected is just strictly worse than Cavalier. But in this scenario, Uncollected, some of these deals are actually strictly better than Cavalier, depending on what you're buying. And I thought that was like, I don't know. I thought that was really, really cool. So if you're fishing for 6 stars, it's strictly worse. But that's fair. Uncollected players shouldn't be pushing a 6-star roster yet. But if you're fishing for 5 stars, this is strictly better. On bundle 1, you're getting 7.8% of a 5-star instead of 4.5. But in return, they're not giving you tier 5 basic, they're giving you tier 2 alpha. And the logic here is that if you're uncollected, you're really pushing for like rank 4 5 stars and roster diversity. So in order to push roster diversity, you get more 5-star shards. In order to push rank 4s, you get tier 2 alphas. Because like honestly, at this point, you shouldn't be thinking too much about tier 5s or rank 5 5 stars. Because honestly, rank 4 5 stars is going to handle almost all of the content you should be looking at until you've pushed Cavalier. And I think that's really, really awesome. And even when it degrades into the second deal here, you're still getting 4.5% of a 5-star per dollar, which is as good as the initial deal for Cavalier, which I thought was super, super awesome. So these first two deals are really, really high high value, and the total cost is still less than the first 2 bundles for Cavalier. So something to look at there. And then here, whereas I felt like the Cavalier 5-star 6 stones was kind of a ripoff, for Uncollected players, you're getting 225% or 2 1/4 5-star 6 stones per dollar. And like, this is actually a really solid amount of 5-star 6 stones per dollar. It's not like the world's largest amount of 5-star 6 stones in general, but for 22 and 22 cents, you are getting, I believe it's 50 5-star 6 stones, which is really solid overall. Just kind of something to be in mind there. Although I do believe the Cavalier versions are generic and the Uncollected versions are class specific, but there's nothing wrong with that. Moving on to bundle 3, this is a garbage amount return rate of 6-star 6 stones, but in return you do get a higher value of tier 4 class catalyst selectors, and it's a noticeably higher percentage of tier 4 class catalysts per dollar than bundle 4. So if tier 4 class catalyst is your purchase here, you're going to want to fixate on this, but if you're willing to take a bit of a hit, like you only need 1 or 2 here or there, you do get tier 2 alpha here. And I think for a lot of Uncollected players, the tier 2 alpha return on bundle 4 is going to be a higher value than the 6-star return rate on bundle 3. Just something to be mindful of there. But hey, some people really fish for those 6 stars, so don't be afraid to gamble if that's your interest. Strangely enough, when we move into bundle 5, you actually have a higher value of tier 2 alpha. So if tier 4 class catalyst is not what you're fishing for, and you're not really itching for that, then you can get bundle 5 for tier 2 alpha per dollar. And then again, we see a huge drop off in tier 4 class catalyst for bundle 6. It's really only important if you're trying to get tier 5 basics, but in that regard, I would say you're probably better off with bundle 7, where the tier 5 basic return rate is better. Just kind of something to be mindful of there. And then the last bundle, the 5-star Nexus, has 5-star shards instead, which I'm not gonna lie, even as a Cavalier player, I kind of would rather have 75% of a 5-star crystal than 25% of a 6-star crystal, but I know that for most Cavalier players that is not the case. So overall, these are the deals. There will be a link to the spreadsheet in the description below. Hopefully I was able to help. Feel free to comment and ask for specific advice. I'll do what I can to help you out. There will be a lot of people asking questions, and hopefully the luck is in your favor. That said, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.